The UFC landscape is buzzing as the hype continues to build for the potential middleweight title clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis at UFC 317. What was once an eagerly awaited event headlined by a fierce battle for the championship is now on hold due to an injury to Du Plessis. However, despite the setback, the fight is far from off the radar, and both fighters have made bold statements leading up to what promises to be an epic showdown. In an unexpected twist, Khamzat Chimaev recently announced that Jon Jones, the UFC's reigning heavyweight champion, will be joining him in training for his upcoming fight with Du Plessis. Chimaev, known for his ruthless aggression and explosive wrestling, is ramping up his preparations for what he believes will be a relatively straightforward bout against Du Plessis. In an interview with Russian media, Khamzat didn't mince words, calling Du Plessis a bad version of me and suggesting that the South African champion would be easier to handle than previous opponents like Sean Strickland. Chimaev's confidence is bolstered by the addition of Jones to his training camp. Known for his unparalleled wrestling and fight IQ, Jones' guidance could be a game-changer for Chimaev. "This is his peak now. You could say that he is a bad version of me, and I'll be back soon to take him down," said Chimaev. The presence of Jon Jones in his camp will undoubtedly sharpen Chimaev's technique, especially in the wrestling department. This news has sparked considerable excitement among fans, as Chimaev's already devastating skill set could reach new heights with Jones in his corner. While Chimaev is busy preparing for what he believes will be a dominant performance, Dricus Du Plessis is not backing down. Du Plessis, the reigning middleweight champion, was quick to respond to Chimaev's comments, emphasizing that he is not afraid of the Chechen's wrestling. In fact, Du Plessis seems to welcome the challenge, confident that his physicality and endurance will be enough to outlast Chimaev. "I'm not worried about Khamzat's wrestling. I have no fear of him taking me down. I plan to engage with him on the ground and show him that my strength and conditioning are on another level," Du Plessis stated in a recent interview. He further added that the perception of Chimaev as an unstoppable force was overblown and that the fight would serve as an opportunity for him to solidify his legacy in the middleweight division. Du Plessis' confidence is understandable. He's shown incredible durability in past bouts, particularly in his victory over Robert Whittaker, where he weathered intense early storms before asserting his dominance in the later rounds. While Chimaev's first-round explosiveness is widely acknowledged as his greatest strength, Du Plessis is known for his resilience and gas tank, suggesting that Chimaev might not have the same success once the fight enters the deeper rounds. Khamzat Chimaev's fight style has always been about explosive aggression, relentless pressure, and taking opponents down as quickly as possible. His wrestling is among the best in the sport, and has shown that he can control opponents from start to finish. But, as Joe Rogan pointed out in a recent interview, the real question going into this matchup is whether Dricus Du Plessis can stop Chimaev's takedown attempts, especially given Chimaev's freakish ability to close distance and grab hold of his opponents from seemingly impossible angles. Khamzat's wrestling is elite, but the question remains, can Du Plessis stop the takedowns? Rogan said on the JRE Fight Companion. Rogan noted that Chimaev's style relies not only on timing but also on his explosive power, which allows him to shoot from absurd distances and still score takedowns. For Du Plessis to win, he'll need to avoid the early pressure and take the fight into the later rounds, where his conditioning and striking could come into play. Du Plessis' ability to absorb punishment and push forward has made him a dangerous adversary in the middleweight division. If he can survive Chimaev's opening onslaught and tire him out, Du Plessis could turn the tide in his favor. However, that's a huge if, considering Chimaev's proven ability to overwhelm opponents early and finish fights in dominant fashion. Unfortunately for fans, the highly anticipated middleweight title fight between Chimaev and Du Plessis was recently postponed due to an injury to Du Plessis. The bout, which was initially set to headline UFC 317 during International Fight Week in June, will now likely be pushed to later in the year. While UFC officials have not yet made an official announcement, it seems that the title fight is off the table for now. This injury setback has forced the UFC to reassess the card, leaving fans wondering what could potentially headline UFC 317 in place of the Chimaev vs. Du Plessis bout. Speculation has begun circulating about possible replacements, with some fans suggesting a lightweight title fight between Islam Makhachev and undefeated contender Ilia Topuria as a potential main event. Others have floated the idea of a heavyweight showdown between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. As for the middleweight division, Chimaev's wait for his title shot continues. Fans are still eager to see whether Chimaev can live up to the massive hype surrounding him, and whether Du Plessis can overcome the explosive challenge that Chimaev brings to the table. Regardless of when the fight happens, it's clear that this clash of styles promises to be one of the most anticipated matchups in UFC history. While the road to UFC 317 has been rocky, the build-up to the eventual middleweight title fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis remains as exciting as ever. Both fighters have shown the skills, resilience, and mentality required to be champions, but their differing styles make this a fascinating contest. Chimaev's early explosiveness versus Du Plessis' durability and cardio could be the deciding factor, as UFC fans eagerly await the announcement of a new date for this showdown. There's no denying that the middleweight division is in for a major shakeup. Whether it's Chimaev's dominant wrestling or Du Plessis' gritty toughness, this fight is poised to define the future of the division. With Jon Jones now part of Chimaev's training camp, the stakes have never been higher. This is a fight you won't want to miss. Let us know in the comments below what you think about the potential outcome of this exciting